and welcome to Wind, Reel, and Print. My name is Ryan.
And my name is Kevin.
And I think it's important to announce that we are using a brand new setup. So if something sounds bad, it was a mistake.
Yeah.
And we tried. But yeah, no, we got some new mics, some stands.
We're official.
Yeah.
We're trying to be.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's connected into a device, which is cool before it goes to the computer. So yeah, it's the real deal. We got sliders. We got buttons. There are buttons to do sound effects, but I don't think we're going to go there yet. Yeah. I'm not going to hurt anyone with that. I could see Kevin abusing it. Sorry, Kevin.
It's true. It's true.
But maybe we can think of some cool movie, some applause or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
Some booze.
The reel running.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that'd be good too. We could do some.
We'll get creative.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. But today, on this episode of Wind, Reel, and Print, it's another classic episode of the Letterboxd Top 250 Shuffle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's actually kind of been a while since we've done this. There's just been a lot of things that have come up, so I'm very excited to have been back, and even to give some context, the holidays kind of just happened when we're recording this, and so it's even been a while since we've seen some of these things.
Right.
So it's just been a while all around. I'm excited to get back into it.
I think it's been a month or two since we last recorded.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
In the time scale of life.
Yeah, exactly. Life hit. Things happen, and now we're back, and I'm very excited. I can't wait for when it's the summertime again. I'm very excited to jump back
when we're in the groove.
Oh, it's going to be wild. It's going to be a lot of movies. I love slow times of the year.
Yeah.
But enough about us. You didn't come to hear what we have to say.
Yeah. So what are the movies that we're collecting?
So first off, is The Sweet Smell of Success by Alexander McKendrick.
Yeah. Who wrote the screenwriting book?
Oh, did he?
He has a screenwriting book, I think. I remember a professor showing us some excerpts.
Yeah, that feels right. Because this guy just feels like he
knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it feels like a writer's movie.
For sure.
Yeah.
The dialogue, the characters.
Yeah.
The way the story just goes.
Exactly. Yeah, but basically a story about an agent, right? A literary agent, or just
some sort of talent agent.
Yeah, talent agent. Yeah, and basically is in league with the biggest writer. That everyone knows. Everyone's trying to get a story across.
Newspaper stuff.
Yeah.
Or kind of paparazzi-ish.
Yeah, it definitely is I've got some hot gossip. So it ends up kind of being some mudslinging and things like that. And basically the big time writer, played by none other than Burt Lancaster, he has a job that he needs our Tony Curtis character. Oh yeah, Sidney Falco. What a great name.
So great.
For that's such a writer's name. Yeah. Sidney Falco. And J.J. Hunsaker. That's Burt Lancaster's character. But we follow Burt giving Tony a job, and it leading into some Tony doing some things that maybe he didn't really want to do, and he's forced down some paths, and this, that, and the other thing. But a fun little movie, film noir-esque. It has that sort of thing going on, but doesn't completely go. And also black and white, 1957.
Yeah.
Next up, we have. I'm trying to go in order of the dates. I'm trying to see. Oh, okay, yeah. Bridge on the River Kwai, by David Lean. David Lean.
Same year. Sorry.
Oh, same year. Yeah. Lawrence of Arabia. David Lean.
Yeah. He also did the train movie, Brief Encounters.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Oh, I like it. Wow, it's got really good reviews. Mm-hmm. All right, I gotta see it. But Bridge on the River Kwai follows POWs in World War II being forced to build a bridge, basically. And it goes in directions that I was not expecting. And it has really interesting things to say, as Alec Guinness, who is kind of the leader of the group, feels even though he's building a bridge for the enemy, he doesn't half-ass anything.
Right.
And so he's going to do it right. And when, you have people in the group that are trying to, start a revolt, he refuses to get in line, and all of these things happen. Right. And then you get some outside agents kind of having to come in and stuff. And yeah, it kind of went there. I was expecting it to be a very patriotic, like POWs escape sort of movie.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was different than that.
Yeah. It takes different perspectives, right?
Yeah.
Because there's like multiple storylines, and like it breaks off at a certain point with William Holden's character.
Yes.
Yeah.
To go on to our next flick is An Autumn Afternoon by Ozu, which follows. I'm actually just going to read this here. Shuhei Hirayama is a widower with a 24-year-old daughter. Gradually, he comes to realize that she should not be obliged to look after him for the rest of his life. So he arranges a marriage for her. It's very interesting because, and I haven't completely seen Tokyo Story, and we will get into all of these things, but there is just like the slice of life. It almost feels weird to even have like a synopsis in some ways, because it just feels so...
It's not like an actual story.
Yeah. Right. It just kind of like settles.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not so much, even just like that description doesn't really explain exactly what's happening in the movie.
Yeah.
Completely.
There's a lot going on because there's like things happening underneath that we'll kind of talk about.
And then finally, The Silence of the Lambs.
I've never heard of this one.
Yeah, directed by Jonathan Demme, who he did Stop Making Sense.
Yeah,
directed that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And also Philadelphia and a number of other films.
Yeah, he's a big indie guy.
Ooh, Manchurian Candidate too. Interesting. Yeah. I've never seen any of the films I mentioned, but definitely have heard of them.
Yeah.
And we'll probably get there at some point.
He has like really interesting interviews with PTA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like a big influence on Paul Thomas.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Silence of the Lambs, horror movie.
Yeah.
Don't really get a lot of horror movies in these top 250, so it's nice to kind of see that. And
an Academy Award winner.
Yes, one of the legendary 3.
Yeah.
Can you name the other 2 off the top? So the legendary in the sense that it won all the major 5, is it? Or 7 of the Academy Awards, which is like director, picture, actor, actress, and writing.
Yep.
So I think it's 5. And
yep.
Yeah,
5.
It won all of them. Do you know if I
have it
you
here.
just read it? Yeah, exactly. You want to tell the audience what the other 2 are besides Silence of the Lambs?
1934's It Happened One Night.
Yeah.
Did we watch that? No.
We did watch it for Screwball.
Okay.
So that will come up in a future episode.
Nice. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
And then 1975's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Which
very eclectic group of films.
They're all very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also to note, like, horror movies typically don't do well at the Academy.
Yeah.
And this was basically one of the only ones to win Best Picture in like any of these awards. Right?
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah.
So it kind of says a lot about like what this film means at a cultural standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels cultural and big. And I had completely forgotten why it was even called Silence of the Lambs. Like, you kind of forget that movies, like the titles mean something at a certain point.
They kind of like slip it in there.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I totally, and the twist at the end, I completely forgot about it as well. So it was really
cross-cutting.
Yeah. I love that sort of thing. Yeah.
Smart.
You get a little bit of that. Did you watch Long Legs?
Nope.
Okay, yeah. Long Legs obviously takes a lot from this one.
Makes sense, yeah.
An FBI agent kind of hunting down something.
Yeah.
Is it supernatural? You kind of get like this feeling like it feels
like
bigger.
Magic.
Yeah, there's something magical, but this film does a really great job of like keeping it all really grounded.
Yeah.
But there still is just like this is so...
Yeah.
Or maybe it's spiritual might be the best way to describe it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's something about it. And that ties into the 250 stuff of like what film can really do and say and all that. And I can see how this film is like influencing horror movies today. Like even like you say, Long Legs. I thought of Barbarian when I saw this, just in terms of like the set design and like these character types and stuff. Yeah.
Well, right on. So those are the 4.
Yeah.
And by the end of this, we will connect them all somehow.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it is, just to start off right off the bat.
Yeah, go for it.
I feel like this was an interesting bunch because none of these were kind of similar to each other. And none of these were really like similar to what we've seen, I feel like, within our 250 that we've already kind of collected, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're really, a lot of these are just like rugged or like unabashedly different, you know?
Yeah.
Just like very textured, and like heavy hitters in different ways.
Yeah.
Like not emotionally like in the ways that we've kind of discussed in the past, but like hitting you and you know, Silence of the Lambs has this like grotesque like suspense kind of thing. And then like Sweet Smell of Success was like very like powerful, you know, with the dialogue and even the imagery, like the way it's shot and everything is like very powerful. I think one of the James Wong Howe, I think shot this. He was mentioned in the Hollywood Chinese documentary.
Yeah. He was a really big cinematographer, right?
Yeah. He shot Sweet Smell Like Success. So there's so much.
Yeah, you're right.
Just like different things that we're seeing here. Like the artistic kind of excellence that we see in film. You know what I mean? Oh yeah.
There is something about this one, about this set.
Right.
That, they didn't like tear me apart like some of we've had some absolutely wild
like
top 250s. That
like the nobody knows one.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like you watch these movies and you're like, these are the greatest movies that have ever been made.
Right. And they're really saying something that feels important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just unbelievable. And these like feel like movies that I've seen even could be made today.
Sure, yeah.
Like they feel modern in a lot of ways.
For sure.
But they still feel definitely. Like they do what they're doing best. Like the best.
Yeah.
And each of them, are all very different. They all hit a totally different spice.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, why not just go in order? Ding, 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 ding. So Sweet Smell of Success.
Okay.
Like you said, really amazing looking. It has a really cool thing. The only black and white film of this bunch.
Yep.
And obviously if you're in the 50s and you're making black and white films, you're doing it intentionally.
Right.
Like there is a purpose behind it.
Right.
It's less and less about for financial reasons. And
right. Well, is it?
Is it? What do you mean? You think it still is a heavy financial thing at this point?
I know at a certain I forget what junction, but there's a point where shooting black and white is cheaper than color because of processing or something.
Okay.
I forget what time period that is, but I know like after color's invented. Yeah. I think because I remember like the Peter Bogdanovich Last Picture Show was like one of the last Hollywood black and white movies. And then even Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf had that status of like one of the last. I think that was the last year that Hollywood was doing the black and white and then color cinematography awards.
Yeah.
So I feel I don't know.
And I guess like I also see that it definitely goes on further than this. I'm curious about the financial reasons behind it and whether it's like an intentional.
The choices between.
What is it? And obviously you make it work too. Like there's something beautiful about working inside the box that you have. When it comes to the finances.
And to maybe support your point, it is a noir, so I feel like having black and white is super definitely intentional in that aspect.
And it definitely is lit really well for that.
It's high contrast, like
very
super contrast. Deep blacks.
So let's right off the top. What did you think of Sweet Smell of Success? How did it hit you?
It was fun. It was great. Like anti-hero. Like proto anti-hero type of film.
Slimy.
Because you hate these people. They're like the
there's
worst.
No one like so there is a couple in it, and they're like the only ones that really have like that feel like actually good people. And all these people, at least our main characters, are doing everything they can to ruin their relationship, basically, because it's the sister of Burt Lancaster's character. And
something with the rivalry too, right? Or something.
Yeah, they definitely add in. There's more. There are a lot of like almost like Game of Thrones level, Sopranos level, like different, or Godfather, like different houses.
Right.
You know, there's
like the other newspapers. Reporters,
there's different, like there's different musicians. There's all of these things kind of coming into play. In New York City, and it was really cool to see New York City.
It's so fun.
Oh my god, I just love
the 50s.
Love it in black and white in the 50s.
Yeah.
It just feels so good.
I could see like Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
Like really like this
movie. It's funny. Like on Letterboxd, Martin Scorsese has an account. I don't know how. Like I don't think it's active at all. Basically, but
I think it was when he was releasing his movie.
Yeah. He has said that he like there are some movies that he has clicked watched. Like, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
And so I have no doubt that he's watched almost everything, like so many things.
I'm sure he's seen so
of
many
all
movies.
the things that he decided to say he watched, this is one of them.
Yeah.
So it does track with what you're saying. Like, it does feel like
it up feels, his alley.
Yeah, it feels really up his alley. Yeah.
Just the dialogue, New York, the look of the film.
Yeah.
The and
kind
then
of criminal
themes, the characters and everything. Yeah, it's like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
kind of a film.
Yeah, and even Departed about like kind of like getting dragged into something you don't want to do. Like you don't really have it in you to do it. That's classic.
And just following your role. Like, it's like this is just what people do.
Yeah. This is how I get ahead. This is what you know. I got to make a living too.
Right. Like I don't care if I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like I just have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's something so grimy about that.
Yeah,
that
so
like
grimy.
I need this to survive.
Right.
Like
the capitalistic survival thing.
Yeah.
It's great.
This is where they want us, folks.
Yeah.
They want us starving so that we do shit like this. Tony Curtis did a great job as Sidney Falco. Had just the right amount of sleazeball to make it work.
Yeah.
But also you're begging for him to stop.
Yeah.
Like I do love movies like that where it's just like, come on. Just like hit the brakes a little bit.
And he knows he can do better. That's the thing too. Like you see that in him, like making this decision to like be a worse person than he wants to be. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, especially towards the end, right? Like forcing himself into certain decisions. It's like, damn, this is tough.
Yeah. And even selling out the girl as well to the other reporter was just tough. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like he's willing to sell out whoever he needs to in order to make this one thing right. Because you can see the movie does a great job of like portraying how his reputation is falling apart.
Right.
He's constantly running into people that are like, get out of my face.
Right. Trying to tear him down.
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
Yeah.
And this is like the last thing he's got. And that makes for a great movie.
Yeah. It's awesome. When you're squirming and cringing.
Exactly. when you force the main character into like it's uncut gems.
Yeah.
I think is that does it
for
perfectly.
Sure. Yeah,
of just like getting yourself into a situation. How are you getting out of this?
Yeah.
Like, are you really willing to go there?
Right. Or just cut yourself out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When are you going to cut your losses and run, sort of thing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough because it really, especially when the sister tries to like commit suicide. It's like, at that point, it's like, holy shit. Like, at what point do you, like you said, cut your losses? It's like, this is just way too much.
Yeah.
To sacrifice. And then you're kind of being outed as like the perpetrator of all this. It's like, fuck, man, just because you're trying to get your in, it's like not worth it sometimes.
It's such a good point. Yeah, because I mean, when it gets to the suicide part, it's like, whoa, we're here now.
Yeah,
like that. It very like similar to the apartment as well, where it's like, wow, how did we end up here?
Right,
like this is so crazy.
Right,
and it also just like, it really paints Tony Curtis's character as just, man, he did something evil and fucked up. Like, and
like really pushing people to the edge.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, it's just crazy. And
it's fun.
Yeah, really good. I really liked it. I don't even know by the time this comes out or even the recording, I don't even know if it's still on the top 250. It was like basically teetering there at the bottom. And a few of these movies are kind of like teetering at the bottom, which is interesting.
Currently 214.
Oh, 214. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
we may have bumped it up.
yeah, exactly. Yes. And this will do even more for it, for sure.
232. Oh, Autumn Afternoon is not
on the list anymore.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, they all were kind of...
Bridge is 232.
Yeah, and I imagine Silence is pretty high, or is that...
105.
105, yeah. That one seems solid. I understand that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's Sweet Smell of Success. Anything else you want to kind of say about it?
Just like, tip the hat to the writing, like a lot of quotable lines, like super fucking clever and sharp and just funny. I say that not remembering any of them because I saw this like months ago, but I just remember that being like a highlight of the film. Like, this is fucking awesome.
On Letterboxd, on the top of the thing is the scene when Tony Curtis' character meets Lancaster's character for the first time. And there's so many, like, he'll say, like, they're
completing each other's sentences.
Yeah, they're completing each other. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, and they're playing along with what the other person is saying and all of these. I thought that,
like, setting them up for the next thing that the other person's going to say.
And they're a perfect pair.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
For sure.
Like, they both can exist in this space.
Like, as characters, but as actors as well.
Yes, they're really good. They know, they've got their timing.
Yeah. The part where he lights his cigarette.
Yeah. He just comes in all of a sudden. It's good.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's a great pair. Yeah, and Burt Lancaster's just fucked up. I hate the guy so much.
He's so good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a great job.
Does so well.
Yeah.
I'm looking now. When did Autumn Afternoon fall off?
Oh, can you actually see that?
Yeah, they update. Whenever they update, they put it into the notes.
Oh, yeah, they say like...
Yeah, so November 4th it fell.
Okay, it's been a while. Wow. Yeah. We've had this on the books for a while.
I know.
Damn.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nora went into the list and fell out.
Nora?
Within the time.
Oh, interesting. Whoa. Wow, that's funny.
So that's how much time has passed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Sweet Smell of Success.
That I think out of the four, maybe my favorite. Just like so entertaining and fun. Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll keep going in order.
Sure.
Let's go. Yeah, the bridge on the River Kwai. So I was firmly expecting not really to
like it,
to like this
movie.
Yeah,
you're kind of saying you're expecting a patriotic.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was definitely expecting kind of what you can imagine of knowing it's a movie about POWs, an American movie about POWs. Though I guess
he's British.
It is British.
Yeah.
And so I guess maybe that's kind of what lends it. It's something I didn't know really going in.
Sure.
But I didn't really know what the bridge on the River Kwai was or anything like that. I didn't know like there was going to be a bombing of it or something like that. But yeah, I definitely went in.
Had to be.
Yeah, and for a while I was like not really vibing with it.
It took a while to like really get the gears greased.
Great acting though. I mean, it was really good. I was just waiting for that thing to hook me.
Yeah.
We're talking it's far into the movie, but when Alec Guinness has that moment when he's willing to betray everyone
for the bridge.
yeah, because he cares so much about honor.
Yeah.
Was such
and like principle and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, that just sent it through the roof for me. I was just like, whoa.
And that's like the latter half of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the last like 40, 30 minutes. You just didn't, you can kind of see where the movie's going straight from the get-go. Like it really is painting like a really...
Like us versus them.
Yeah, us versus them. It's got like a lot of the classic things like... Yeah, and portraying Alec Guinness's character's honor. Like he's standing out in the sun for forever. He's not eating. He's not doing all these things.
Box.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can. Like, it's very interesting in that way, but you can kind of see where it's going and that eventually there's going to be some sort of revolt.
Right.
But then you don't...
Or something breaks,
something's going to break, but I didn't expect it to break this
like
way.
That way, yeah.
It was really
super interesting.
It was really great. And then I really like the ending too. It is just kind of like it all falls apart.
Yeah.
I guess like the bridge. It's just like a complete collapse of
Literally.
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, the bridge is a metaphor.
I know.
For their connection as humans during the war.
I know. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. No, definitely that last section was like, oh, whoa, this is really cool now.
Yeah.
And then that scene wherein he falls on the thing, I was like losing my shit, like screaming at the kind of TV. Because the bridge, it's such a slow burn for the first like hour and a half that you kind of disregard a lot of what's happening, because it is very like dialectic, like these two sides are like battling against each other based on principle, and that can get kind of like heady and pretentious, I feel like, a lot of the times. And it's not until that what you're talking about where the action kind of comes in, where like now people have to make sacrifices and like compromise their character and stuff. Because William Holden, who is kind of the lead in the movie, alongside Alec Guinness, eventually runs
away, and there's a whole like little side,
like a C story.
Yes, where he's going to come back and break in, but he's taking his time off, and they're trying to get him back into it.
Yeah,
let's get the band back together, sort of vibe.
Well, he kind of presents as like having valuable information. Like it's so funny because they recruit him thinking that he'll help them do their thing, but then none of the information he provides actually helps them do whatever. They have to like change their plan like every single time, and he's like, why the fuck am I here?
Why am I here?
It's almost like the futile nature of war, like in this film. Like so many of these people are trying to uphold this thing that they're trying to do, and there's like almost no point to it by the end of the movie.
It's a really good, because Alec Guinness's character talking about like the bridge, like he's convincing his men and getting them, like he's really serious about like disciplining them and making sure they work, and it's good for morale,
like
and all
upholding
the
militaristic like
and
things.
talking about how like they put a sign up saying like this is the bridge
made
built by
this.
I
thought that was funny.
And like that's how much he cares, is like he is.
It's a pride thing.
Yeah, it's a pride thing. And it's like pride for his country. I don't think it's just him. It's like he has this air about him. He is very serious.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
It definitely was. It was very different to see even a POW movie like that, where it's not just like people like coming in, and eventually they kind of get a little ragged, but they march in to the POW camp.
Right.
Like that's crazy. And I guess that's how it's supposed to be when you really think about like what POWs are supposed to be, but it just feels like we see a devolution, I guess, of norms and of those sorts of things usually. And so this was an interesting
like into chaos and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting like headbutting thing that they do within the film. Like these people who really care, and that's like a note in screenwriting, I feel like, is like having people who really care about what they want and are like, will do anything to try and get it, like makes for the most interesting drama. And I feel like David Lean is such a great director in terms of that, like or at least in Brief Encounter does a lot of the same things of like building really strong characters that are like kind of have to entangle within each other and like figure each other out, you know what I mean? And definitely a lot of that in this movie. Like I feel like war films are just innately structured to do that. You know what I mean? Especially in the POW sense, where you don't need action to like tell the story. It's like everything can just be kind of like intellectualized and like notification. Because because you're mentioning this like sort of like subgroup genre thing of POW movies. What other films off the top can you think of that are within that realm for you?
Deer Hunter.
Deer Hunter, haven't seen that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Deer Hunter,
another Academy Award winner.
Yeah, I think Rescue Dawn.
I
think did Werner Herzog do that? I think it's like something insane like that, like someone I was not expecting. And oh man, I feel like there are some other ones, but some more Vietnam ones. That's usually kind of what I'm thinking of when I'm thinking of. It seemed like that was also another thing. I feel like I'd never seen a POW World War II movie.
Yeah, the only one I can think of is Merry Christmas, Mr. Something.
Oh yeah,
Mr. with David Bowie.
Yeah.
And I think that one is World War II or Korea or something. I forget. It's some Asian country. But that's the only one I can think of in terms of POW films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. But yeah, it all does just like lead to escape.
Yeah.
And they do. There is a trajectory you kind of follow because like it hurts to watch a movie if you're just kind of watching like
people die.
Yeah, exactly, the suffering of it. But yeah, no, I think it's very interesting. It's been a while since I've seen Deer Hunter. But I do want to rewatch that again. I think that had a lot of interesting things to say.
Yeah.
And it definitely goes to places.
Need to watch that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I've seen Japanese internment camp films. I guess that's technically POW.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of other stuff. But yeah, I feel like War of the Planet of the Apes is a prisoner of war movie.
I didn't see that one.
And then there's this Korean film about these guys this Japanese guy and a Korean guy who become prisoner of war during World War II, like in different fronts. So they're in Japan, and then I think the Korean guy is a prisoner of war for Japan, and then the Japanese guy is like his general or something. Ooh. And then they get captured by like Russians, and then they get captured by Nazis.
Whoa.
It becomes like this whole thing, and they go into different like armies and stuff.
That's very neat.
Yeah, it's like from 2010 or 2014 or something.
We obviously, it's on our list to eventually see, but The Human Condition.
Oh, is that movie, Prisoner of War stuff?
Yeah, that is Prisoner of War.
Oh, cool.
At least the first one. And that one is, those ones just are legendary, so I can't wait to watch those. That's Kobayashi, is the director.
We watched one of his movies.
He did Harakiri.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just an absolute master of the craft.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
No denying it, yeah. Masaki Kobayashi. And he did Kwai, which is a movie I've been wanting to see as well. It seems really neat. I think I've seen that. So many of these movies star
the same guy.
Yeah, I guess that one doesn't, but he looks very similar. But yeah, Tatsuya Nakadai, who was in High and Low and a lot of these, just like still alive. Which is crazy. I was actually looking it up. I'm like, oh my God, he is
still kicking.
Yeah, he's still kicking and doing all sorts of things. 1932. Damn. I mean, we're talking. I mean, that's like Mel Brooks.
Approaching 100.
Yeah, Mel Brooks is about to be 100. And Dick Van Dyke, too. There's some people, it's like.
Didn't Dick Van Dyke pass?
I don't think so. By the time this comes out, maybe all of these people have passed, which is dating.
Dick Van Dyke had passed away.
I don't think so, but we must know.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Sorry, Dick.
Oh,
still alive.
He is alive and had to be carried from his raging Los Angeles fire. Oh my gosh.
That's sad.
We are recording this when the fire's
currently happening.
Yeah.
Oh man,
crazy.
That's crazy. Okay,
but yeah, there you go. So that's Bridge on the River Kwai.
Yeah, great film.
Yeah, it was really cool. It really picks up at the end, and I think it
saves itself.
Yeah, it saves itself from being just kind of somewhat generic.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like David Lean, if you're going to critique a David Lean movie, he is pretty generic. Like, he just makes really solid, Hollywood, whatever type movies. But I think who knows? I mean, it's written by someone, right? Forget.
It was written by Carl Foreman and Michael Wilson.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking of Sweet Smell. Never mind.
But Carl Foreman wrote High Noon.
Oh, okay.
And a few other things.
Oh, dang. So was he
and Michael Wilson. Oh, Michael Wilson wrote Planet of the Apes, Lawrence of Arabia, A Place in the Sun, Salt of the Earth.
So, Carl Foreman was blacklisted.
Really?
During Whack, because High Noon is a critique on American culture. So that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Like this era of Hollywood is like steeped with like communist versus patriot sort of dialogue.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of that kind of happening. Because High Noon, there's like a High Noon and then a John Ford movie that are like in conversation with each other, like responding to each other. And so this era of Hollywood is like super interesting because we get a lot of political stuff affecting like the films that are being made.
Yeah.
And you can look at Bridge on the River Kwai as like an interesting attempt to like deconstruct these sorts of like ideals and like principles that we uphold within like Western society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it also the movie itself definitely has that air of like you're doing it for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, why are you? And the characters know this, but Alec Guinness
like really
to
believes this. Yeah.
And everyone's just like, why? What's
Like, what's
going
the
on?
point?
Yeah, exactly. And it just shows even like morale is such an interesting thing in just war and how it is like a resource.
Right.
And
it can win you a battle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he is the master of morale. Which is very interesting.
Totally.
Because like his men just love him so much and are willing to do so much for him.
Sure. Yeah.
And he's insane.
It's like in they talk about this in in sports, like Pat, what's his name, whatever, that famous podcaster guy.
Oh yeah.
He was talking about like how a football team, you could have a good team but bad culture, and you'll lose like a bunch of games. But if you have a bad team and good culture, you could like surprise people.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a huge part in like kind of brain chemistry, collective like community stuff of like how people operate. Yeah, it's like really interesting.
And to tie that in, you wonder like how much that affects movies being made and what it's like on set and everything like that. And does that come through? And and everything like that. Like sometimes it feels like you can feel like, oh, this must have been awful.
Waterworld.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, damn, like it just feels
experience.
Yeah, it feels like so dictatorial that it's just what are we? Yeah, I think Waterworld's a perfect example of just like Kevin Costner just like
derailing the whole thing.
Exactly, and just putting his foot on the gas for his own benefit. It feels like.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay, Bridge on the River Kwai up next.
Let's cross that bridge.
Yes. Oh, we're blowing it up on our way out. Very different film.
Yeah.
We're settling in now into it. I think it was present day is when it came out. So Japan of the early 60s.
Right. Trying to be more like contemporary.
Yes. Yeah. An Autumn Afternoon by Ozu.
His last movie ever.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I did not know that.
I think.
Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Ooh, that takes a different light then.
Yeah, right.
Really? Wow, I didn't realize he...
Yep, Autumn Afternoon.
He didn't last that long. Or like he passed away a long time ago.
Yeah, but he was making movies in the 20s.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he died in the 60s, yeah. But he made a lot of movies. And he's one of the rare directors who made films in like all these different eras.
Yeah. Wow, that's so interesting.
So, yeah. So does that put what changes it for you? What makes it
Well, there is
different?
a lot of talk about the meaning of life, I guess.
Yeah.
And like, are you wasting time or what like how are you relying on others, and especially the father, who is realizing that he is kind of keeping his daughter trapped.
Right.
And although the movie like has really
has like three main characters, yeah.
And it does like it has interesting things to say about marriage, and it is very like the way it is in that culture and everything like that. But for him, it's very much like he's been holding her back for so long, and just doesn't really realize it. And then someone kind of points it out, and he kind of laughs it off at first, but then it just kind of weighs on him. Yeah. And so that's just it feels like that's a very like you're at the end of your life, and
it feels like a reflection.
Yeah,
movie.
It feels very reflective, and wow, that just makes the ending so much more beautiful. Right. Too, of kind of passing off, your daughter into her new life, but also it's just like making room for the future.
Yeah. Holding space.
Holding space. I've never actually said those words. But yes, holding space.
Yeah, definitely. I've only seen like a handful of his films. I think I've seen Tokyo Story and then like Late Spring.
Yeah.
And then Floating Weeds. But he definitely goes back to a lot of these themes. Like in this film in particular, I see a lot of stuff that he's doing in a lot of his older films. With like the marriage and like the way society's constructed and like the importance of family and the role of family in your life. I think he's always like kind of deconstructing a lot of what Japanese culture says about these things. But because, you know, like we've kind of discussed, like, am I dead?
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're the bottom one.
Oh, okay. You're two. Okay. Yeah. I was like, fuck, am I not recording?
I've been checking constantly because I've been a little worried.
Okay.
As we're figuring it out.
But like, I feel like this film, because it's a reflection piece, because he's like applying so much of his own kind of philosophy into, not that he's not doing it in the other films, but I feel like it's so strongly forefronted in this with a lot of the older male characters.
Yeah.
It's like how he's using this ensemble piece to like mirror each other, and like people are realizing stuff about themselves by seeing like other people's situations. It's like such a beautifully crafted film, and then the way he like composes everything into a room is like so like interesting to me. Yeah, I don't know, it just felt very powerful, and it like was saying something more strongly to me than his other stuff.
Yeah, I have not. I tried watching Tokyo Story a number of years ago, and I wasn't able to get through it because I think I still had some learning to do about like movies and things like that, and because it is just it's a lot softer.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste.
Yeah. But it's on like every. What made me want to watch it was it's on like every director's like greatest top 10.
Yeah,
you know. And you definitely like, I remember when I watched that, and definitely where you feel like this is like just looking at like Japanese life in the house and in the home.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And it's like, the camera is just static. It's always static. It feels like, and it's just there. And
the angle he chooses too is very like different.
Yeah.
Cause it's like lower. It's
I was just
set
about to say
lower.
it's always lower.
Yeah. Which he's kind of known for. Like that's kind of his signature is that shot. And I feel like in this movie, it's like, whoa, this feels so like perfected, you know?
Yeah.
Like, especially, I don't know. I never really get this. I guess I need to watch more of his stuff too. But I felt like this was very powerful. Yeah. In a lot of ways. Yeah.
And I guess another aspect I completely forgot because we watched 2046 not that long ago. And I've conflated some of the like, going and having dinner with your friends. Yeah. That kind of happens in this.
Sure, yeah.
And they end up meeting up these kind of like, I thought they were old, this group of guys, but then their like teacher from when they grew up ends up kind of like being there, joining up and then kind of like checking in on him and stuff like that. And I guess that's another just like really like
looking at your life.
Yeah, looking at your life at the end.
Yeah.
And that's another,
like seeing where you will end up. Kind of a deal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It has a little bit of like looking back at the past and looking forward.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then that scene where they're in the bar and singing the military songs. I thought that was like, whoa, this is saying something about Japan, like as a society, you know, where they are post-war.
Yeah.
Like,
Japan in the 50s is so interesting.
Yeah. Because they're getting over some shit.
They're
really
working through stuff.
Like, it's not my fault. Like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's like, ooh.
Yeah. Because there still is like, if I remember correctly, I mean, there's still some pride in like we are like we were in the military. There isn't like a like let's not talk about that or anything like that. It's just like because you have to live, like you have to move forward, and there's and it's really hard to move forward if you just hate yourself forever.
Yeah, it's tough. There is a sense of like depression, within these characters, but even with Japan, like after World War II, it's like, it's crazy. Yeah, and they like the cultural revolution basically that happens in films out of there. It just feels very important to the healing process and creating a brand new identity. That's a great point.
Yeah. I mean, Godzilla being a perfect example of just we need to put our trauma into something.
For sure.
And I feel like we as Americans did that with the superhero movies of the 2000s to kind of like, we should do a Godzilla episode at some point and kind of talk about, or just monster movies.
Yeah, kaiju.
But of like, of helplessness. How do we portray helplessness?
Right.
And like, we need someone to save us because we can't save ourselves.
Right.
And there was that fear and the war on terror and stuff that I think kind of needed that in order for superhero movies to kind of be successful, was like a theory back in the day.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it held up, but
I mean, if you look at Iron Man and stuff.
Oh, that's very grounded in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they are trying to, and even to some extent, like Transformers and stuff, they're trying to like implement those ideologies.
Like save us from this thing.
Right.
And eventually Godzilla, in the first movie, he's like evil, like completely evil, and he is for the first few movies, and then becomes like
anthropomorphized.
Yeah, exactly. And then becomes like a hero, and then he's got a baby, and then it's like, it gets so goofy. But I love that cheapo shit.
Yeah,
it's so great. But yeah, Autumn Afternoon, really, really good. I will have to. I imagine Ozu will come up again.
Yeah, he has other stuff in here.
Yeah,
he's like, if you look at the Sight and Sound top directors, he's like number 4, number 3.
Wow, number 3 would be, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's always like a lot higher than I would like anticipate.
Yeah,
I just like don't see him as like someone that a lot of people would really enjoy, but he does impact a lot of people like consider him an influence on.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I know Paul Dano is very like outspoken about like liking Ozu films.
Really?
Yeah. Because he directed a film called Wildfire with Jake Gyllenhaal and someone, I forgot her name. And he says like he was trying to make like an Ozu film with that. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. It's a director I need to understand a little bit more.
Yeah. I think he's, like I said, an acquired taste just because his style is so strong.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so different.
It's strong, but reserved.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You would think it's boring, but it's super.
Oh, there's probably so many people that think it's boring. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it's slow. It is slow.
It is slow.
It's weird. And it's like disjointed to me. Like sometimes the editing is like, why is it?
Yeah.
There's so much space between this cut and that cut. Like he's really allowing the time to like pass.
Yeah.
That it doesn't even feel continuous.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. When I think about like Japanese films that take a lot of time, I immediately go to Hayao Miyazaki's films, like the Studio Ghibli films.
But that feels smooth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. That's a perfected like poetry. It's like very poetic.
Each shot is like a painting.
Yeah. Yes.
Like whereas this one, it's like it feels like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I guess in Tokyo Story for me, I feel that the most, where it's like the cut between each shot feels like like chunky, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know how to describe it.
Interesting. Yeah, no, now I really got to see it. I want to feel it.
Yeah.
I know.
Because I feel like this one felt refined. Autumn Afternoon. Like he knew like what he was kind of saying and doing and stuff.
Something I'm now realizing that he does is he always cuts when people are talking. Like when someone is done talking, it cuts to the next person. They start talking.
Yeah,
there's no L cuts, J cuts, or whatever.
Nothing's layered over each other. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I forgot about that, but that's what he did that the whole movie.
But I feel like he hides it more in this one better than the other ones. Yeah. Like the other ones is like, oh, I noticed that cut. Yeah. And I'm like waiting for them to speak. Yeah. It's like this weird
Super
thing.
Weird.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like something he like literally like cameras in between characters.
Yeah.
Like no one really ever does that.
Yeah.
It's normally like an over the shoulder or like, you're trying to include space and stuff. Like his kind of direct address kind of thing is like, I think for a lot of American viewers, it's like different and like kind of off-putting or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not a lot of coverage either.
Right.
It's very simple.
Right.
Get the wide, move in, standard sort of stuff.
Yeah. Let the emotion hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
All right, next guy.
Where
are we?
Final film.
Okay.
We're doing good.
We're doing good.
Final film.
Yeah.
The Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, what's your relationship with this one? I feel like this one, obviously, because it's newer, has more cultural relevance to us as people.
Yeah, I definitely watched it when I was younger.
Right.
And I was definitely like freaked out by it. It definitely was like that. And I think that it's been done in pop culture so much that I know some of the like put the lotion on its skin, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And
Clarice.
Wow, look at us. We've been doing this podcast too long. But things like that. So like, I definitely feel that I definitely kind of forgot so much though about like how Anthony Hopkins kind of is. I thought he was the bad guy.
No, yeah, he's the good guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's the guy who's giving the information and all of these things.
Because they're trying to find Buffalo Bill.
Exactly. Yeah. I completely lost all that.
I feel like the pop culture kind of removes what the story actually is.
Hannibal Lecter is the bad guy, and there's been so many things that have come out. Where
right, because he has sequels and he has like all these things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what about your relation?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of only knew the pop culture stuff, like knowing Silence of the Lambs, but never, I think I saw it when I was like already in film school and stuff. So I don't have like too much of a thing, but I do know like a lot of the film school kind of how they talk about it. Like people really enjoy this movie in like a film school context because it's like gender, there's so much that it's saying about gender, much of it's saying about like sexuality, like there's a reading of like what this is saying about like trans people and homosexuality and that kind of stuff. So there's so many different readings on this film. That I get that kind of context because it is like a woman in a male dominated profession. Like you get a lot of shots that are like emphasizing that in the beginning and stuff like that. And then even her relationship with what's his name is like kind of emphasized and stuff.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job because they didn't. It's not so like, oh, let's get this woman out of here or whatever like that. It's that you can feel the sexism in everything.
Yeah,
like
totally.
She exists in a sexist world.
Right. Like that's the tension of the film. Yeah.
Without it being just so like
like
over
victimized.
the head sort of thing.
Yeah.
And she has obviously dealt with it for so long and even knows how to kind of use it to her advantage when it comes to like the
negotiations.
Yeah, like the prison. What do you call the guy who's the head of the prison? The warden. Yeah. When she's talking to the warden so that she can get the interview. There's definitely a little bit like, oh yeah, I'd love
playing
to, and every guy is so sleazy and gross. Yeah. And it is so sexual. Like the movie just has so much of that.
Yeah.
It just is, it's all up in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was very freaking definitely like, the more I keep talking about it, Longlegs is like so similar in so many ways. Very, very similar. But
yeah, this film is very influential.
Yeah. Very. The imagery is great. I think it has this really cool style to it. It's I don't like rooting for the FBI in real life, but I like her, and I like this. Feels like a just way to use the FBI. In my opinion,
it's not trying to say something overtly about like the FBI. It's just using it as a tool for a narrative device. Yeah,
it's interesting when movies kind of do that because then you kind of like
Zero Dark 30.
I was just about to go to Catherine Bigelow. I was just about to say, wow, we are a little too much on the same wavelength. I'm actually got a little worried. We'll have to unplug and replug.
Because I was thinking that because there's a line in Zero Dark 30 where she's like, don't they know we're the FBI? Yes. And it's like, girl, like,
come on.
Don't you know who the FBI are?
Please.
Yeah. And I think this one's like a little bit more grounded in knowing like not to like romanticize this kind of organization.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Jodie Foster does just a bang up job. Yeah. Really liked her. Anthony Hopkins did really good too. And then what's the guy who plays Buffalo Bill? What's his name again? Oh, Ted Levine. Oh, yeah. He is just scummy in all the right ways.
Yeah, plays it up really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always really liked him as an actor. He's in some very interesting
What has he done?
Movies. I've seen him in Wild Wild West, Flubber.
Oh, he's in Shutter Island.
Yeah, Shutter Island, Heat. Have you ever seen Heat?
Nope.
Heat is so good. I love Heat.
Yeah, that's Michael Mann, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I need to watch more of his stuff.
Yeah.
My friends really like him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just like it's one of those like perfect action movies, perfect thriller.
Yeah.
It just has it
Neon
has such
noir.
a good. Yeah, it's neo noir with like just like so much action. Like Michael Mann just like
he knows
how to pump energy into something.
For sure.
Yeah, and Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, in their
prime.
Like, prime.
Yeah.
Like kind of late prime because we're talking 90s, but
this is an Irishman though.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not. I think it's kind of the last time they were great.
Yeah. I've seen scenes.
Yeah, like that. You probably have seen
the dinner
like,
thing.
in the cafe or the dinner. Yeah, in the diner.
It's like a classic
Scene. Bad guy, good guy, sitting at the same table.
Yeah.
Just it's so good.
Peak
and cinema. And to talk about Sweet Smell of Success, even with that, there is this like, what are we doing this for? Like, this is our last job. Like, we got to get out of this because what is this really worth? That sort of vibe. So.
Sure,
we'll talk about it at some point, I imagine. But
definitely that'll come up.
Yeah, but Silence of the Lambs.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, it's really good. I think I think Autumn Afternoon. After even just talking some more about it, it feels like Autumn Afternoon should be in the top 250.
I think so.
Yeah. But Silence of the Lambs, definitely. I understand why it's there. It feels very like it perfects what it's doing.
Yeah.
It does a great thriller horror movie.
Yeah.
I was like edge of your seat. I wasn't bored in the slightest. It was like, all right, I'm in. It's
the form is like keeping you engaged.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, the film books note that cross-cutting scene that I had mentioned earlier of them like her going to Buffalo Bill's house and then the FBI raiding who they think is Buffalo Bill's house, and then it's like not actually the case, and then you're in the room and it's so suspenseful and you're like
so
shitting yourself. It's one of the greatest like cinematic buildups. Yeah, talking about like Bridge to the River Kwai. Yeah, like all these things coming together at once. Yeah, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, that it was so good. I was just like.
Yeah. I love when I'm like in my seat, like can't like focus.
There's
oh my god.
Have you seen Girl with the Dragon Tattoo?
Yeah, that movie's it's disturbing, man. Yeah. But there's a lot of great drama building scenes.
And it's those there's I think about that scene all the time at the end of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo where Stellan Skarsgård's character is there with Daniel Craig and is basically like Daniel Craig knows Stellan Skarsgård is bad
guy. And but aren't they in the basement or something?
They don't go to the basement yet. They're up top, but then Stellan Skarsgård invites him into the basement.
Oh yeah.
And Daniel Craig knows it's a mistake.
Right.
He knows it's wrong.
But he has to.
And then Stellan Skarsgård makes a comment on it later like, you knew, but you did it anyways. Like, you just followed what I was saying.
Yeah.
And you feel that with Jodie Foster in that house. Like, there's something wrong here.
Right.
She's got to do her due diligence. She's got to do all these things. But there's
something's going to slip.
There's something that, like, it's like one coincidence. Like, oh, this guy is kind of weird. Like, he has some interest in the case. Okay, that's another check that box.
Right.
Then it's another. And another, and all of a sudden, it just like, and now he's not in the room anymore.
Right.
And it's like, oh no, like you can just, my hair's standing up just thinking about it because it's
sweating
so good
right now.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, just like the way you can build tension and like, I think one thing in terms of like screenwriting is like building a scene where the audience knows something but the character doesn't, and then like having those contrasting feelings of like, oh my god, you know, like the anticipation and the suspense. I think that's the fucking Alfred Hitchcock actually principle of like showing the bomb and not showing the bomb. I think knowing about it ahead of time like creates this idea of suspense.
Oh, it's so, I mean, you know, that's something you can do with movies. That's something you can, like, it's just an amazing tool that you have is the audience is like something and to
you
play
can
with
use that against them. Totally.
It's so great.
Great point. Yeah. Like knowing that someone's watching this, you can play with like expectations and stuff.
Knowing film is a form,
right?
And it is something to consume and to do it in a unique way that only film can do it.
Right.
Obviously, books can do it too, but it's it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just feels so much more involved when you're watching a thing.
It's just like, what?
Yeah.
You can just see them and and it's the classic horror movie and it's the great ones do it. It's just, you're screaming.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't go. Stop it. Come
Don't
on,
go.
please.
Yeah.
Come on. And this one did that perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, it's the standard. I think it's like setting the bar for this genre. And this one's another film to me where like it doesn't feel like a horror movie. It just feels like a really, really good drama.
Yeah.
You know, and we're just scared and like anticipating, you know, because like to me, I guess I think of horror as like the slasher film or like the jump scare. And like cheap entertainment almost, or like I guess like some things like Silence of the Lambs, it's just like saying so much more than what the genre is like capable of doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think those are the ones that end up actually like blowing up and creating genres. I think Cure, I pointed to that a number of times, but that basically created this supernatural Japanese horror genre. And it just, it goes beyond just a regular horror movie for sure.
It's like saying more than the genre.
Cure, another great 90s horror movie. I think there was just there was something in the water in the 90s that I think just made
the nihilism.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then you have Blair Witch Project as well, where we get into like, it's just like the 90s just did such a great job.
Right. And I think all of these films are kind of commenting on like surveillance. Yeah. And like because people
technology
watching
is increasing too. Yeah. We are starting to get
internet and phones and everything, and just like the idea of being watched or like the horror of like things hidden within society that we don't know. You know?
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. That's cool. I get down with it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I see that for sure.
Okay,
in this film. Yeah, that's great. So tie it all up.
Tie it all up. You're pointing at me. Yeah, let me think, because my brain is kind of rewired a little differently as we've talked, which is what you hope when you're having these conversations.
Yeah, and some new perspectives and stuff.
Yeah, what's the trend here?
I'll kind of jump in and say, after this discussion, I feel like a lot of these films are like characters put in weird positions and like needing to figure their way out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a very good point, because there has been a number of those. It's like, what does it take to climb out of the hole?
Right. Like the Gladiator narrative or like 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah.
Where you're presented with this like life-threatening situation, so to speak.
So how do you tie Autumn Afternoon into something like that?
Yeah, just like realizing that your life has been a devastation to someone else, or like realizing that you have so much more ahead of you, or just like the grander life trappings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's not so much, I guess Autumn Afternoon is the least closest to that. But I feel like you could tie it in with certain characters of like, oh, I'm like doing something weird.
Yeah.
You know, or like you start confronting serious sort of existential things for yourself. Yeah.
I think another way I would take it is it feels like it's like characters that are like, if I can just get the train on the tracks, everything will be okay.
Totally.
Like, let me just, like Silence of the Lambs, it's a promotion in a lot of ways. Like, this is just like something they kind of threw at her because it's like, let her figure it out. Right. You know, like for this, that, and the other reason.
Right. And it's so improbable, her situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Of like being a student and then like.
But it definitely, because she's a woman, they did want that. That was an aspect of it. Right. Obviously, Bridge on the River Kwai is a little bit of that too, where it's just like, we just got to get out of here. We got to do what we need to do to get out of here. Right. Obviously, Sweet Smell of Success, I think, is the easiest way to connect that one. Yeah. And Autumn Afternoon is like,
it's just so big and macro. I think it's hard to narrow it. Yeah, because it is
that
like
one's so weird,
familial and like interpersonal and stuff.
Yeah,
and none of them. I think. The other four, you can point to characters as being like sleazeballs, or the other three, you can point to characters as being like sleazeballs, or like they don't care. Whereas Autumn Afternoon, it's like this one just it does have tonally a different thing
there's a
going on.
brightness.
Yeah. Just because of the position in this guy's life, like when he made this film, I think it's imbued with something else too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's
that's a great way
we're gonna get with that, honestly, and I'm pretty happy with how we did it.
B+ effort.
Yeah. A for effort.
Yeah.
You can grade us after the fact if it's B+ or not, but definitely A for effort.
Yeah. I mean, these are films, like we said, were stragglers, like end of the 250 list.
Yeah, it's an interesting that once, folks, we picked these at random.
Yeah.
So this was just the way
it just happened.
Yeah, the cinema god.
Yeah.
It's one god.
Yeah.
There's only one cinema god.
Yeah.
His name is
I feel like
her name.
I feel like I took a poly.
Oh! Is it what is it
called?
Polytheism.
Polytheistic approach, because I feel like there's light.
It's like a Zeus and a
like
a Poseidon
light,
sort of thing.
Light, sound,
Ooh,
that kind of
way. I like
way.
that actually. That's good. Yeah, and I imagine like being on set like the patron saint of sound.
Yeah, exactly.
like
we do like sacrifices.
Yeah, say your Hail Marys for
rituals.
Yeah, something like that. That's pretty funny.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like the sound, like boom off. They walk in like in church with like the
like
candle
a bishop
and stuff.
Sort of thing. Yeah, something like that.
Like
totally.
with the book.
Yeah, lighting comes in with the incense.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, we're making it happen.
We're making it happen.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Well, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully the audio was to your liking.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time. That's a wrap. Boop. Wind Reel and Print is a podcast by Salad Brain Productions. You can find us online on Instagram at Wind Reel and Print Pod. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts. And please, if you like the show, leave a rating and review. We'll see you next time.